Cheaters of Reddit, why are you currently cheating on yourself? I created a throwaway for obvious reasons. You wanted a serious and honest response, so this is how I can do it. I've been a cheater in most relationships I've had, and as a result, a self-hater for most relationships. I've been through therapy for about 8 years for other reasons, and what I've come to learn is that I didn't feel I deserved love, affection, or appreciation. This stems from a whole host of other things from my childhood: sexual abuse, lack of fatherly relationship, latchkey kid, etc. I treated relationships as though they were temporary even though they lasted for years. I'm a good-looking guy, so lots of women offer up temptation that I found difficult to reject. And each time, I hated myself for my indiscretions. I also picked relationships that were bad for me: cheater girlfriends, terrible communicators, insecure women, etc. Then I met the girl of my dreams. I was so into her from day one that I immediately shut down all of my other options. I told other women I was dating that I was happy and done dating around. I shut down a non-committed long-distance relationship as well. I was really in love. Then I found out she was cheating on me. I can't describe the heartbreak and betrayal I felt. This sent me into a downward spiral of emotional hell. Through therapy, I was able to get back on track, appreciate myself more, and find a girl who is absolutely perfect for me. I do still feel urges to cheat sometimes, but my unwillingness to hurt her saves me. Part of my self-hatred stems from not doing the right thing. Each time I do the right thing, I feel a sense of pride, and it makes me feel worthy of the love I receive. A positive cycle. I don't cheat anymore. My freshman year in college, I was still with my high school girlfriend. I avoided way too many opportunities for casual sex and new romances my freshman year out of faithfulness for there to have been any chance of dealing with walking into her apartment finding her curled up with another dude in a healthy way. It flipped a switch. It was like I went narcissist or psychopath or some shit overnight. It was like my ability to love or respect women just disappeared. So I cheated on literally every girlfriend I had from then on, and I wasn't sneaky about it. I didn't care if I got caught. I'd give the shittiest, poorly thought out excuses for where I was, what I was doing, and just not care to explain it any further. And the number of girls that gave me the benefit of the doubt on those shitty, god-awful excuses was astounding. And even when they didn't, and I would actually get busted, who gave a shit? Not me. I had already gotten what I wanted. In retrospect, there were likely elements of gaslighting and emotional abuse involved. It was a 5-year-long boner-fueled power trip. It was a dark time. The woman I ended up marrying was the catalyst for change, though I think I started calming down some by that point anyway. Didn't cheat on her, we got married, still didn't cheat on her. She cheated on me. 3 different people, some more than once, that I know of. I suspect dozens more. I think I kinda deserved it, though. I had spent enough time being an insufferable bastard that I had it coming. When it's all said and done, though, I really don't know why, aside from it having been a power trip. Only thing I know for sure is that I'm not going back to it. I am a frequent cheater on my wife with escorts. I am sexually adventurous, my wife isn't. I rationalize it as getting from them what my wife can't or isn't willing to do. I rationalize that I'm not loving any of these women, I'm just using them for a service. I realize I'm a terrible person. Downvote me if you want, I'm just answering the question honestly. I cheated on my first wife repeatedly out of anger, frustration, immaturity, and a whole host of other reasons. Then my wife died of cancer. Now I spend every day since living with the guilt and shame, which is 100 times worse than anything that happened before. Never again.
I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years. I plus V cheated on him with 12 guys, I believe. None of these guys ever found out I had a boyfriend, and I've managed to make 3 guys my boyfriends at once. I'm definitely not proud of myself. I am a compulsive liar, and it's the thing I am best at. In person I believe I come off as a very trustworthy and kind person. I fantasize about being single and living on my own, but I never actively try to break up with my boyfriend even though I know he is way better off without me. He is a great guy and has never done anything wrong. I don't know why I do what I do. I'm simply a fuck up and incapable of making a good decision. It will catch up to me eventually, I'm sure.
Not enough sex. Things started off great, but after a while the sex was happening less and less often. It got to the point when once every 2 weeks would be considered a good month. I tried being more romantic, taking her out more, tried to be more direct and flirty, but nothing worked. She is content having sex only once or twice a month. So yeah, I have brief affairs to get the satisfaction I am constantly denied at home. I am not currently cheating on my wife, but I did so in the past. We had been married for a couple of years and together for 8 by the point this happened, and owned a home together. She is very attractive as well, and for the most part we get along well. Overall, most things were pretty good. She worked a ton and had a stressful job. Pretty much to the point where I did all the chores, and we didn't have much of a relationship because she would want to unwind and relax by herself, and the TV, after working all day. This sometimes included weekends. Of course this took a large hit on our relationship and sex life. Very long story short, a very, very, long-time internet friend who I got to know during high school moved to the area that I live. She used to live very far away in Hawaii, during this stressful time period of my relationship. Her and I used to chat online and on the phone for hours when we were in high school. 15 plus years before we met up, costing our parents insane amounts in long-distance telephone bills. This was in the days when the original Napster came out, and before MySpace. We talked about getting together back then, but eventually the distance was too great to overcome and life happened for both of us. We lost touch for many years. She herself had gotten married, and without too many more details, divorced. During the time which we lost contact, lo and behold, she now lives in the same state I do, not even that far away. We met up, and sparked up an intense relationship. Without many more details, I ended up cheating multiple times with her and was nearly about to divorce my wife and leave for this girl who I knew from many years before I even met my wife. But I didn't. I decided I wanted to work things out with my wife. We had come so far, and built a life together. I did want to try to save it, somehow. My wife forgave and was willing to move forward, and we have. I still don't believe I deserve to be forgiven for what I had done, but I do love my wife and we now have a much better relationship. Obviously we had a lot to overcome, and it took a long time. My wife has a different job now and things are much different. We have a good life together and I am thankful and fortunate to still have it. I won't make that mistake again. The grass is always greenest where you water it. Remember that.
What the hey, I'll vent about my story without creating another account. I cheated on my ex-husband twice. I grew up in a crappy family where everyone hates each other. My mother used to bully me for how I look, and I was severely bullied at school. I felt disgusting and unwanted all the time. When I was older I met my ex-husband and I stayed with him because it made sense. I could have a stable life with him after suffering through homelessness previously. He wasn't physically abusive or anything and I never thought anyone I like would go for someone like me anyways. Life isn't a fairy tale blah blah blah. I was just trying to be practical. Unfortunately, he was abusive in other ways. He didn't build me up and only put me down. Every time I tried to delve into a new hobby he was always very critical of me. He made me feel like a failure that would never be able to accomplish anything. I stayed with him because I thought the alternative would be way worse. He made good money and I pretty much sucked at that point. No way of independently taking care of myself adequately. Every time I tried to improve myself he would break me down again. I felt so lonely and trapped. I suffered a miscarriage and he told me that he didn't know if he would want to stay with me if I couldn't have children. I reacted by crying on the floor and his response to that was, "Ugh, why would I want to have children with someone who acts like this? So it felt nice when guy number 1 showed up and made me feel beautiful. Then guy number 2 showed up and it dawned on me that, hey, I could do better. I could be happy. So I got a divorce and couldn't be happier with my life. I stuck with guy number 2 and he eventually became my husband.
I loved an ex-girlfriend with all my heart. But she wasn't very sexual. I cheated because I was drunk and some basic bitch let me do whatever I wanted to her. As soon as I was done I had all that garbage out of my system and wanted nothing more than to pour my heart and soul into that ex-girlfriend. It really helped me commit to that relationship. She took a job in NYC though and left me for money. Such is life. Honestly, I have lost the interest in my girlfriend. There is another girl who I've met and we both know we like each other. We do stuff but I can't break up with my girlfriend because I am afraid of seeing her suffer because she is extremely in love with me, but I no longer feel that way. The way I rationalize is that if she doesn't know it won't hurt her, and out of sight out of mind.